Doesn't matter what they think. It just matters what people think that come to this channel and support this channel. So there are 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner. Boom, boom, boom. If you could hit those, boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden something appears. It's not the subscribe button. It's the like button. If you could help us out and tighten up that like button, I appreciate you. MB says, hey, Upload, way to be on top of the presser. Yes, you will get that here on this channel. You will get this. We try. And it just worked out that I'm off all week. So shout out to Mrs. Upload for helping out too. But yeah, today, celebrating my birthday. What better way to come down with all of you as we got Rand Carthon now talking about the bringing in L'Jarius Sneed. But that's the thing I want to hear about. I understand Rand's going to say some stuff today, and that's fine. But I'm more important to think about what you guys think. Poll question, again, how many wins do you think the Tennessee Titans will L'Jarius Sneed help them win? I'm not saying be the sole provider, but I'm saying, hey, look, 3rd and 7. Titans down by 3. Titans up by 3. Late 4th quarter. All of a sudden, a 3rd and 7. Sneed bats the ball down. Something like that. That's clearly him. Or Sneed plays out of his mind, whether he creates a turnover, for the year, for the couple, not last year, I guess this is last year for the Baltimore Raven game. He punched the ball out with Zay Flowers, but I'm talking about down the line. The year before, I think he had 4 fumbles that he helped provide. I remember Peanut Tillman out of Chicago. That guy was a stud at punching the ball, and he did it to Kenny Britt on the first little slant pass of the game, and it was a LP Field at the time. I think it was 2012. Here comes Kenny Britt. We think it's a huge play. I was there live to see it all, and bam, Peanut Tillman bats the ball out, just like my AirPod things, and now we're off and running. So, again, I appreciate all of you to stop by here today to talk Tennessee Titans. Hopefully everything's sounding okay, unlike last time. But, again, let's get into some more of your comments. Logan says, happy birthday. Thanks so much. Miss Titan says, happy birthday. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And MB supporting the channel saying, hey, let's smash that like button. I appreciate that as well. Right now, the poll question, we have 38 votes to start the show. Now 39. How many of you, and we're 4+. We're 4+. You guys, out of all the free agents, I think that we've acquired over the years. Now, I get it. Julio Jones, fine. We'll put him to the side. Clowney, put him to the side. Like, that was like a real big deal because at the time, the Tennessee Titans were good. And right now, we're at that, hey, we're not very good. So we had to go out and do a lot in free agency. I believe we've spent the most money out of any team, and we have to get back to where we need to go. And ultimately, totally understand that. That's totally great. And I totally understand the process. It takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. But to see Sneed come over in that trade, I would say I've seen stuff out of you that I've never seen with traditional free agency. I just haven't seen it. And this channel's been popping since 2019, so it's not like we just showed up yesterday. Again, having you guys be the gauge of what this should tell us does mean a lot to me. Power Hour, shout out to him, had a show last night with Titans Time Podcast. Great job by those guys. They had Tannehill on the cover. And we've had some people come in here and start throwing some words around on Tannehill. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. I think Power Hour's point's well taken. Like, guys, let's not try to lose track. It's okay to still support Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, even though we're going into the 2024 season without them. Can we just at least admit they were a big part to what the Titans were in that span when they went to the AFC title game, when they were the number 1 seed, and they did make the playoffs multiple years and win multiple divisions? The Tennessee Titans were the reason, or they were a big part of that reason. Again, John Robinson was also a part of it. We can't, Coach Vrabel. So we're not erasing history here. But I think the future with this press conference tonight with Sneed is bright. I think everybody realizes that, hey, having a top shutdown corner who's not afraid of anybody, he said it in this press conference. He talked about the fact that he was also very, very influential in the fact of, I'm losing my point. Oh, like Devontae Adams. Like, that's when he knew he was going to be a stud in this league. And that's when he knew he could play, when he shut down Devontae Adams. So I think that's pretty cool thing. I mean, realistically, I think that's pretty awesome. Let's get some more of your comments. Yes, happy birthday, says MB as well. Hey, thank you guys. Stanley in the house with some birthday stuff as well. I appreciate all of you guys. So, again, you guys can leave a comment. Again, what do you feel as far as how this guy has helped the Tennessee Titans? How many wins? You leaving a poll question helps. I get it. We got 7 likes. It is what it is. But the poll question is something that kind of takes our show to the next level, and we try to assess that poll question. Again, we got some of you coming in now as this press conference is coming to an end. We got a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. You took my Calvin Ridley, says Taco. Hey, I was as shocked as anybody. Did I think going into the free agency period we would take Calvin Ridley and pay him 4 years, $92 million? No. Am I mad that we did it? No. Am I excited that we have him now? Yes. Am I more excited that the Patriots didn't get him and apparently they were in on it and that's all the media wants to talk about? Yes, I'm excited about that. But thanks for the comment. Good luck to your Jaguars. I think right now Jacksonville and Houston are up there on the platform to win the division for next year. But I think the Titans are trying to figure out their new identity, trying to figure things out, trying to move the ship in the right direction. And they're doing a pretty decent job. The Colts, it's more of, hey, we're the Colts. We're going to do it this way. And we don't really need to do anything because we're the Colts. And Anthony, Richardson is going to be the most amazing quarterback since Patrick Mahomes, and that's going to happen. And we're going to continue to talk trash to everybody, and we're just going to do our thing. And that's fine because the Colts have done that for years. And I can't tell you the last time. I mean, the Colts had Andrew Luck. Things were great. They've made a few playoff bursts. They went with Rivers once. They played Buffalo extremely well. And again, we have subscribers that are from the Colts base, and I love them dearly. And Anvil is a member of the 145 Club. Shout out to all of them, by the way. We're up to 35 members. Appreciate every single one of them. But again, at the end of the day, I think right now the Titans are the wild card in this. I think even over the Colts. That's what I'll say. Hey, the Titans are going to be good. The Titans are going to win this. The Titans are going to do this. I don't know. But I can tell you this. The Titans are building a wild card, not in sense playoff team, a wild card like you don't know what you're going to get with Tennessee. They might be there the last week fighting for the division. They might start strong, fade fast. They might start slow and then rise. I have no idea, but I think a lot of it depends on what they do in the draft. Get that left tackle. I know there's still debate. There's still some of you still so excited about going off in all these lands with having, 15 wide receivers on the ball club and having the top 10 wide receivers in the league, but still not have a quarterback who necessarily would have time to throw to him, can pick up a left tackle at Walmart or Dollar General, wherever your household needs are. I'm just telling you straight up. Your opinion, my opinion. I've been wrong many, many times. You guys are always right. I'm just kidding. Most of the time you are, though. I'm wrong. But I can say, picking a left tackle, solidifying the offensive line, now having a shutdown corner. The only thing this team can't do right now, and I don't care who tells you this and doesn't tell you otherwise, just at least take some thought to what I'm going to say. That's all I ask. You don't have to believe me or not. The Titans aren't going to be able to stop the run. They still have to figure out some things to stop the run. That's the only thing that scares me. We have the best corners in the league. We have Simmons to take away a lot of that pressure up front, but still, they're going to double, triple team the guy. So you need another counterpart. You still need another edge rusher to go along with Key and Landry, because I just don't think Weaver's the guy. We do got a super chat. Shout out to you. Super chat time. Got to change that. Applause word. All right, we'll do the applause. And a $10 super chat coming from Stanley, our guy Stanley. As long as we sweep the Colts, Jags, and maybe split with the Texans, I'm happy with the division. Shout out to you, Stanley. And I think in a way where you're going there with a $10 super chat, Stanley, is you're like, hey, listen, I want to see growth. I want to see this team stack some wins, start moving in that direction where, hey, they're a force to be reckoned with in the AFC South. We hear about it all the time, right? Oh, this division is starting to get better. This division is starting to have quarterbacks. This division is starting to take off instead of being the trash division that it was for many, many years, having one solid team and then everyone else be garbage. We want a fighter's chance to come down to the wire and have solid ball clubs making the divisional round. Maybe having an AFC South, AFC championship game for once. That would be awesome. having multiple teams make it from the same division every year, whether it be Houston and Tennessee, whether it be Jacksonville and Tennessee, whether it even be Indianapolis and Tennessee, having multiple, and who knows, maybe even having 3 make it once in a while would be electric. So shout out again to you, Stanley. Zach says we need D linemen and safety and linebackers. I would say those are our 3 biggest needs other than left tackle. Again, pick 7. You take the left tackle. You deal with Wright at some point. You still probably, I mean, if you feel good about Nick Petit-Frere and you can work him with Callahan and his dad, Bill, and all that, that's fine. I'm okay with that plan, by the way. Still think we're okay at right guard for now. But defensively, I cannot make the same argument. You got me a shutdown corner, Rand. That's awesome. That helps tremendously. That takes a lot of pressure off going into this year's draft, because you could have said, oh my gosh, we need a corner. We have Awuzie, but we still need another corner, right? Avery's terrible. 300 snaps last year, gave up 6 touchdowns. Christian Fulton was awful. WAR scoring 254. He's off the LA Chargers. Moving on. Did I forget anybody? Oh, yeah, Bunting was kind of okay at times, but when you look at his overall analytics, it showed otherwise. It wasn't great. Now, Arizona's still willing to pay him, so maybe he was better than we thought he was. But again, your offense didn't help anybody out last year. Your Christian Fultons might have looked good one day and looked terrible the next. The reason a lot of that was not just because some of these guys were bad, but was for the fact that the offense kept giving the defense on the field. It didn't matter. 3rd and 7, out. 3rd and 5, out. Oh my gosh, I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting lit up here on the phone, on the hotline. What do we got? All right. So again, the bottom line is the Titans got some work to do. But the press conference, the reaction to it is the knees. The knee question was asked, thank goodness. And the response was, my knees are not a problem. I am ready to go right now. Let's go. That's what I want to hear. Maybe he can't say too much. Maybe he can't say, hey, I'm going to have surgery at some point. Maybe it is a meniscus. Maybe it is bone on bone. Maybe my knees are awful. I get it. He probably can't, but he looked me in the eye, and he looked you in the eye if you were watching. And if you were just listening to us, you heard the audio. He said the knees aren't a problem. And that's, my friends, it gives me some sort of joy. And that would solidify why I gave up 3rd-round pick next year, which I don't care about until next year, right? And then a lot of money, 4 years, $76.4 million. Fine, it's not my money. Bottom line, I'm okay with the deal. I hope you guys are too. Big O Titan, shout out to you. You're going to get some applause. Big O's always been a supporter of the channel. We appreciate him dearly. Says lunchtime upload. Let's go. Tighten up. Again, what's your thoughts on Sneed, man? Let me know. I know you guys have been voting. Right now we're at 60, 61. We're starting to progress. 27 minutes in. Right now we got 48%, almost 50% of you who hit that poll question of the 4 options. How many wins is Sneed going to provide the Tennessee Titans in 2024? Help provide. Help is the key. So before you get on me and be like, hey, man, one guy can't win games. I totally understand that unless you're technically a kicker or throwing the game-winning touchdown or running it in or solidifying it on defensively with a turnover or a 4th down conversion. Totally understand that point. But how many realistic times is he going to go out there and shut down somebody and give us an opportunity to win? You know, and that's the key thing. If you think the Titans win 10 games, how many games do you think we would have won not having Sneed? That's kind of where I'm going with that. How many games do you think we would have won without Sneed? You know what I'm saying? So if we go 10-7 next year, and we're right there for the end of the division, how many times would we have, of those 10 games that we won, not won because of Sneed? And I think when you look at it from that point of view, so I'll give you my take on that towards the end of the show. But right now I want to hear what your thoughts are. Let's see what else we got. Yes, definitely. We need a defense now. Zach says, I say trade 7 with the Bears, get pick 11 and their 72 pick. And then our 38 will have 3 off top 100 picks. The Bears are at 9. So for the Bears to trade you 9. Now here's the thing I threw out there for April Fools, because I didn't really think much of it. I was just trying to be stupid, and a lot of people were going to be stupid yesterday and float around some stupid stuff on social media. So it was more of an educational thing than anything. I was more like trying to educate everyone not to fall for a bunch of crap yesterday on April Fools. And hopefully that education level paid off if you visited the channel and saw the community page yesterday, which we're really trying to revamp here on the Titan Upload Network, not only for subscribers, but also for obviously the 145 Club. So I posted something this morning, 145 Club, that was personal to me. But I want to give you more of an inside look of this channel and how it operates, and more feel like it's more of a community because you're investing in this channel. So you should know what you're investing in. That's my point. But again, I think when we go back and look, again, trading, what I said was April Fool's related, correct, right? Trading Will Levis to the Vikings because they need a quarterback. And let's say they love Will Levis and they give you 11 and they give you 23. Would you do that? And I was shocked. There were a lot of you that commented on that, and before wanting to like beat me up, of course, for spreading stupid jokes on April Fools. But you guys actually like, hey, that kind of would do that. Like, I was shocked on that. So I think there needs to be a video made now for that. And yeah, I'll take some heat for it. But again, I think there's a certain amount of population within the Titans base that says, listen, I am not 100% sold on Will Levis. If I could get picks 11 and 23 and trade up maybe and take one of these quarterbacks going out this year, I don't think 11 and 23 gets it done to move up to 1 with the Bears, because if the Bears still have Fields, possibly. But they don't have Fields anymore. So they don't have a quarterback. They are taking Williams from US. It's a done lock deal. I don't care what they're trying to stir you otherwise. But again, if you're saying, hey, we're going to take J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan, I'm going to have to flip a lid. Okay? I'm just going to flip a lid, and maybe we just put an end to the Titan Upload Network. Just be done with it. Because I am not going to get behind that one. And again, I think that's completely fake. I don't believe that. That's the April Fool's joke, is all these media outlets now telling you that J.J. McCarthy is going to go in the top 5, and people are just waiting to trade up to snag him at 4, possibly with the Cardinals, or 5 with switching with the Chargers and Vikings so they can move up. Again, but the thing is, if J.J. McCarthy's there and it's true, then yes, use it to our advantage. But I can't sacrifice Joe Alt. I just can't do it, and I hope you can't either. All right, let's keep it going with these comments. We got Cage in the house. I hope Weaver steps it up. But if anything, he provided me a number 99, with my last name on it. Shout out to Cage. Jacob says, multiple games last year, 1 score losses. Sneed could turn around at least a couple of those with a win, preventing big play opportunities and change a game. Now, he could do it one of 2 ways. I love the dog image, right? Dog pound in the house. Jacob, I feel you're exactly right. And that gives me hope that this team can turn around a lot quicker than we thought, because of the fact that the Tennessee Titans won 6 games last year somehow with the roster that we had. Pretty amazing. Considering the fact that Andre Diller was your left tackle most of the year, and literally just, I mean, we could have went out there and stood, and maybe we wouldn't have been as effective. But at the same time, like, I mean, what were we doing at left tackle? And they kept running that over and over and over, because I partly don't think they wanted to admit the mistake. And the other reason is I don't really think they had anybody else, and they certainly weren't going to move Skoronski over, which is ridiculous why they didn't even try him. He was a great left tackle at Big Ten country at Northwestern. Actually, he wasn't just good. He was awesome. And he faced a lot of elite talent in the Big Ten. I know they kind of, the SEC and them, they go round and round about who's better and all that stuff. The SEC obviously is a class of its own. But being in Big Ten country, there's a lot of Big Ten guys coming out of the Big Ten that are really good in the NFL. And we just saw Michigan win the whole thing, and they're in the Big Ten. So my point is, why not even try it? But that's water down the road at this point. I get it. A lot of water coming in now in the Nashville area. Prayers to you guys down there. And then we had a lot of water come through the last few days, and they realized I'm on spring break, so why not just rain every day and go from 60 degrees down to 40. So shout out to the weather. But again, I think that's the logically point, is we won 6 games even though we had all this disaster. And Tannehill got hurt, and Levis had a couple good games out of his life. Miami was awesome. The Falcons game was incredible. Even the game against Pittsburgh was good. Tannehill plays really good in the last week of the season against the Jaguars. And somehow, some way, the Titans win 6 games. So, again, when we look at this Titans team going next year, adding a shutdown corner who we think is healthy based on the press conference with his knees, that could solidify more wins. So I completely agree with you. Will Levis fan, how many yards do you think will go for this year? That's a great question. I love it, man. Will Levis fan in the house. Now, we say that for a different poll question, but on the top of just to generally talk about Will Levis in general, having him have an offensive line that can protect him is going to be interesting. I'm really excited about that. Now, I get it. Rand's put us in a position where we are starting to think we can be good. And that some of you have already crossed the bridge, right? You've already crossed the Rubicon and you are moving into Rome. And you feel like, hey, this is going to happen. We're a playoff team. I've heard you loud and clear. Heard you loud and clear. On a lot of our shows that we provide, you come in here and you are in. You are sold. Rand has already done enough for you. So add a draft to it. Add maybe a couple more free agents along the summer that come along to solidify the team. You've already crossed. You're ready to go. And that's awesome. So I'm really excited if I could put that to a side with the expectation level just to see how good Will can be. We saw glimpses. It's so hard. We've been through this over and over and over on this channel. Okay? Now, again, I can't speak for everybody in the Titans community, but I can speak for myself. And myself says this. I told you one thing to be skeptical of. One thing to just be a little bit skeptical before you just go all in is, does a debut performance, okay, meeting someone for the first time, we've been through this, is that going to change your narrative of the person now long lasting? Again, Mariota threw 4 touchdown passes and a half against Tampa Bay. It was battle 1 versus 2 in the draft against Winston. And Mariota just balled out from the opening drive to Kendall Wright for 54-yard touchdown across the middle. He was amazing in that game. Next game against Cleveland, struggled, was hit, was beat up by that Cleveland defense. Our defense couldn't stop anyone. We ended up getting beat by Cleveland, which wasn't very good at the time. And I think that still didn't change anything. You guys were all still sold on Mariota. I was too. So I think those first impressions can go longer. Now, if Will Levis went out through 4 interceptions and no touchdowns and fumbled 1,000 times, we would be spending some time trying to figure out if he was good. So during all that rambling and going back and forth there, what I would say is it's going to be nice now to really put everything behind us from last year and see how good he can be. So how many yards is that going to be? Well, honestly, I think you're looking at 3,500 being the low end, and it may be 4,000 kind of being in that area where you might see 25 touchdowns and 10 to 12 interceptions. I mean, I don't really know statistically what you want and how it's going to play out because I haven't seen Callahan call a game before. And as much as you guys want to enjoy it and believe it and all that, you don't know either. So you don't know really what that's going to look like. But if you can get the offensive line to protect him, and I know this show's about Sneed and not so much Will Levis, I think that would set up some opportunities because as long as D-Hop stays healthy, then I'm gone. So he might have a little of that. Kyle Phillips, I don't know how much pressure is going to really be on him because I think right now Phillips, there's only one way to go and it's up. Like, you know what I mean? He had 15 receptions last year, and he was miserable at punt return. I'm sure he'd even tell you that. Good guy, though. Great guy. So, maybe you get him involved. Nick Westbrook, he can't find another team, and the Titans just can't get off the fact that, like, this guy has put a lot in there, then maybe he should stay. So they brought him back for $2 million. Oh, Faye, just imagine if he had more receivers, unpredictable backfield, and still has his leg. Shout out. That's a good point, too. Every time. And, hey, thanks for being a member, man. Every time you brought Derrick Henry in, you knew they were going to run. Every time you took Derrick out, you knew they were going to pass. And that didn't change on any coordinator, whether it have been, again, Todd Downing or with Tim Kelly. So good points on there. Noah T, what do you think of the Titans' floor is least wins? So we won 6 last year. The media or the Vegas is saying 5.5, which is stupid. Still, I don't know where they get these numbers, but like I said last show or whenever we went live last, I said, listen, if you want to earn a little cash and you're old enough, that would be a golden opportunity, because I just cannot see the Titans winning less than 5.5 games, which basically means 6. I think the Titans' low is 6 wins. I think the high, realistically, out of 17 games, I think the high, and you could bend my arm and twist my arm right now, and I know we don't have a left tackle at this point, but let's say we go with Alt, and let's say Alt is actually who we think he is, like a solid left tackle, okay? We can't stop the run right now. That is scary, but let's just hypothetically say, just throwing things out there, throwing darts, they sign a safety who's okay, whether that be Simmons, whether it be Hyde, whether that be Jamal Adams, which I don't think is any good now, but you get the point. You bring someone out there that has some credibility to their name, a veteran that can solidify with Hooker on the back end, okay? Let's say you don't give me the edge rusher that we want. Maybe we just bring in a guy from the 6th round, whatever, but you at least give me a linebacker, an inside linebacker. Maybe we bring in the maniac like I suggested last show, and then you have somebody to go with Landry, or I'm sorry, with Simmons, just somebody. So let's just throw out Tier Tart, just to throw it out. I know it's something that a lot of you don't want to go back to, and you really think it was Tier Tart's fault. Maybe it was. If Simmons said that, then I believe him. I think this team could win 12 games. I think this team could win 12 games right now where it stands. Because offensively, my only reason why I say this is because last year we won 6 games. Now, you'll say, well, we had Derrick Henry. But Derrick Henry, for as great as he is, there was a lot of games where we couldn't get a couple yards with Derrick Henry because the offensive line was so bad. There were many games where Derrick got hit in the backfield and he might start a game with 3 carries for -6 yards. Like, you get my point there. Like, this team, it was run through Derrick, but they bailed on Derrick a lot. And there's so many opportunities. They had him for a 3rd and 2, and they didn't even have him on the field. Now, DeAndre Hopkins soaked up a lot of this because he was actually had a pretty good underrated season last year. He did. He had a really good season. 75 receptions, over 100 or over 1,000 yards. Like, he produced. Nobody else did. And we still won 6 games. Again, we went back and forth with Derrick Henry and how many times, like, he reached 100 yards. Like, you're adding Pollard, which wasn't great last year either in Dallas, being the guy, but Pollard going with Spears. You're hoping that will mix and work. Again, Folk was pretty automatic last year, so you're hoping even though he's 40 or whatever, he's going to be fine this year. The punter is going to be an issue because I don't think Stonehouse will be ready to go next year with that massive injury he took, again, because of how bad the special teams were last year. So I do think this, if you do a few things I suggested, I think the ceiling's 12 for wins. And I think the low end of that is 6. I don't think you can come in here and say anything lower than 6. Even if Levis gets hurt and they trot out Mason Rudolph, I still think the win level's 6. Am I wrong? I don't know. You guys will let me know. And B says, don't forget about it, Upload, that Levis is going to be learning a new offensive system too. It will take time. That's a really good point. It's not just going to happen overnight. Charles, thanks so much for being a member, man. I'm gonna kid, and he's gonna say Levi's jeans. I'm just kidding. He wanted Levis there, and it auto corrected on him. But he says Levis has more weapons than Mariota. I think that's true. Kenny says I am thinking of getting jerseys. Who do you think will be here for a long time, or should I just rock my Henry jerseys? Well, I just bought a Henry jersey, the Oilers one, because I feel like that's gonna be a keepsake. And down the line, when he shows up to autograph shows, and I can get in there and get his autograph for under $200, I'm gonna do it. I could frame it, last forever. I do think he'll be in the Hall of Fame someday. I think he's got a really great shot at that. I think he can solidify himself in Baltimore and get some opportunities there. So for King Henry, I'm all in. And I got the jersey on the NFL shop for like 70% off. It's just ridiculous. And it was one of those, wasn't elite, but it was the one down. I think it was like originally like $200. You got it for like 70. Okay. And I had like a bunch of credits, so it was a win-win for me. And I got a new hat, which is the old draft hat. But I'm using, it's fine. I don't care. I like the hat and feels good, fits good. I enjoy it. Great. Let's go. New draft hats. Interested on those too. I like the I think it's over here. They have like the Tennessee Titans or Tennessee State, and then they got something in there. So that's cool. But yeah, I do feel it's going to take a little bit of time. And as far as your jersey situation, Simmons will be here a while. Levis, I think if you're sold on Levis, he'll be here a while. Sneed will be here at least 4 years, right? But I think what you really need to do, it's not going to be popular, but I'm telling you, if you want the longest lasting Titan isn't even on the team yet. But if you get him at number 7 and Joe Alt, that's going to be your longest lasting Titan. He will be everything you hoped Taylor Lewan would be and more. And I really like Taylor Lewan as a football player. I thought Taylor Lewan, when he was healthy, did some really good things for the Tennessee Titans. And he really was, you could tell when he was out, we did struggle a little bit, you know. And I know Dennis Kelly was able to hold the fort down for a little bit, but long term, when he was on, Taylor Lewan, this football team was really, really good. Fade says, let's see, Bill Callahan has called plays. Has he, though? Has he called plays? Because I have not heard he's called plays. I know that it was more Zach Taylor's thing, and even when he was in his last place with, the Rams, he didn't call plays either with Denver. But I will say this, he was very part of the planning process. So that's 100% true. When Burrow came in, he was willing to change the offense to fit Burrow's needs rather than trying to shove the Cincinnati Bengal offense down his throat. And they didn't do that, and it worked out great. The Jags are better than the Texans, better all, and better than y'all. King Ballmer speaks. Charles says, Levis doesn't have to force the issue. The Titans have 2 great pass catchers at running backs. I say tank some years. Will is not the guy, man. So he's saying Will's out. Noah says, I say 7 is the absolute floor. Mitchell in the house. What's going on? Sorry to get you yesterday with the fake news. I don't know. April Fool's joke, man. I was really debating that because that was kind of harsh, especially for a lot of you that are so invested in Will Levis. That's pretty harsh. Again, I did the swipe thing, so I had the fake on the picture as well to next to it, but I do apologize. But I just wanted to educate because I knew there was going to be a bunch of crap being thrown out there yesterday. Again, if you could help out the channel, there are 3 dots, boom and boom and boom in the upper right-hand corner. And then there's like this blinking, or I don't know, it's probably red at the time. It probably blends in with the other redness on this channel. But to hit that subscribe button, we'd appreciate it. Again, I got to make that fun and make it more of a entertaining thing when I bring it up. So you guys can't say, hey, he only comes on here to talk about subs. Those kind of things. But again, the like button just shows that you care. Again, the poll question, though, you guys know I love my poll question. 157, so trying to get 200. Says, how many wins do you think Sneed will help provide the Tennessee Titans in 2024? Again, help. We've kind of been through this before. I'm not going to go down this road again. But again, last year we won 6 games. If we had Sneed on the team last year, would we have won 7? Would we have won 8? Would we have won 9? I mean, that's kind of a gauge. But again, you guys are saying in the poll, almost 40% of you that voted 4+. The next closest 2+, or 2, right around 2 extra wins. I will give you my take the last 5 minutes of the show. Joe Alt Jersey says, Charles. MB says, using logic, more quarterbacks in the league that are starters now should be dumped, including Trevor Lawrence. That's why the comment makes no sense. I think him and Doug Peterson are something special. I'm expecting a huge step forward, and I think that's fair. Pig says, tighten up to you too. Noah says, without Ridley? Come on, let's be realistic. MB says, he's had more bad years than good, but excuses seem to be consistent coming out of him. Mitchell says, Levis will be fine in the new offense. Levis used motion in his earlier games last season, and he's also made lineman adjustments and route adjustments at the line of scrimmage. And Mitchell says, you didn't get me. We got Stanley, politicals talk. He's giving you his instant candidate for 2024. Oh, man, I'm not going to lie, okay? I don't want to talk politics, but there are a lot of people that don't have any realm to go in this route because literally they have nothing to bring to the table when it comes to that political stuff. But what I can say, at least with me, I teach civics. right? Teach government. Social studies, a big involvement in that. So I know how to handle it. You know, there's a lot of people that don't know how to handle that stuff, but I know how to handle it because I'm not really allowed to give you my take on it, but I think I do a good job of getting people to have a healthy discussion. So I think I could do it on the channel. I really, really do. So I think on election night, we could go live and we could get into this. We could break down state by state, give updates, my predictions, what's going to happen as far as what states, what to look for. Like, I feel like I could bring so much to that. And honestly, I would love it. But at the end of the day, I don't think you would love it. So I might have to put a poll question on that. Would that interest you? Do you think I could actually bring out healthy conversation instead of the back and forth, name calling, making everybody feel bad because of who they vote for or don't vote for? Do you think I could pull that? I think I could. I think it'd be fun. It'd be a lot more fun in November if the Titans were still doing up and well. Maybe number one in the division. Maybe even in the conference. Maybe even thinking, hey, Super Bowl. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know how the subscribers at the Titan Upload Network that built this channel would really want a live political night. Yeah, but maybe we'll ask it. I don't know. Oh man, that would be interesting. I know sports and politics don't mix. Okay, they just don't. But I feel like I could pull it off. I mean, I do have the education behind me to be able to balance a healthy discussion. I do. Now, who comes in here and starts running them now? I guess we could ban them. We could ban them, right? But anyways, back to Sneed. But again, I get excited about that. It's one time a year, like I'll stay up all night again and just constantly be looking at forecasts and constantly be looking at the numbers coming out, looking at the different polls leading up to it. I remember back in 2016, really quick, 2016, with the election between Clinton and Trump. And the thing was, in that election, everyone forecasted Clinton would win ginormously. Everybody was forecasting that nationally. Didn't matter what poll or news site you looked at. They were all like, I think one of them does a really good job. I can't think of it. But they were like 90%. And I think that's, for me, again, taking it from out of context from that, I think a lot of you would be going back and forth with the candidates themselves. But my point, my takeaway from that is that's why it's important to go out and vote. That's why it's important to go out and at least vote, and then you can make your argument. Then, hey, doesn't work out, you can at least say, hey, I tried, right? But I think there's so many people that live and they think, oh, everything's just going to, because of the electoral college, everything's just going to play out that way, and it's tough. But back on to Sneed, by the way. Good transition. So Noah T says it collapsed at 90% of the time. He's talking about the pocket. We got Baltz, bought my Levis Oilers jersey. He'll retire a Titan. The little Mariota hand signal to end it. AB, time will tell, these quarterbacks pan out, but it's silly to make bold statements regarding rookie quarterbacks at this point. Lawrence is going into year 4. We're starting to see who he is. He's been hurt as well. Noah T says, we beat the Bengals with Tannehill, so we can do anything with Levis. Now, remember, Noah, although I agree, 27-3, it was, or was it 24-3? It was a nice victory for the Titans because we could never beat Burrow. But remember, Burrow was not healthy last year. And I think any Bengal fan will tell you that he wasn't the same. And they kept trotting him out there. And I think a lot of it was the pride of Burrow himself. He's going to fight through it, but he was terrible. And a lot of the numbers from some of the wide receivers also. That's why I thought Tyler Boyd, which might be going to Pittsburgh, by the way, might have been good in Tennessee because of the fact that he had 67 receptions. And like, we're judging him and we're like, oh no, he's not going to be that good. Oh man, he's getting a little older. His numbers were down. That's fine. Your numbers across the board were freaking terrible. You know what I mean? How can you argue with me around 67 receptions from a guy and almost 1,000 yards when you're throwing up Nick Westbrook-Ikine with 28 receptions? You're throwing up Kyle Phillips with 15, and you're throwing out Treylon Burks with 16. If it wasn't for D-Hop having 75 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and literally being the only hope for the Tennessee Titans in the passing game other than screen passes and occasional tight end passes to Okonkwo, this team wouldn't have been anything last year without D-Hop. So, yeah, Tyler Boyd would have made sense because he put up 67 receptions with a quarterback that literally was playing with one arm behind his back. Stick to football. Politics just too divisive. He says no matter what you say or you're upsetting somebody. Good point, Steve. And that's ultimately why we probably won't do it. Maybe we should just stick to doing the Santa Claus stay up all night and we could track Santa Claus. Now, that honestly would be fun too. That would be my second thing. You've already known I did the PlayStation 5 up all night trying to get everybody PlayStation 5s when nobody can find them. And we did a good job. That broke Best Buy 4 a.m. That was the coolest thing ever. There are some people that have subscribed to this channel for that video only. They will not watch anything else the upload produces or anything the network comes out with. But they know how impactful that night was. And it was a blast. It was a blast. So shout out to all those people. Sir Zing says, go Lions. Mitchell says, Burrow couldn't move. He couldn't plant his feet fast enough to adjust. And see, that's my point. So I can't get on Tyler Boyd for having 67 receptions. Like in this offense, 67 receptions would be amazing next to D-Hop. So again, we got 63 of you in the house watching. Again, going back to Sneed. Again, I can't go back and play it all again for you. Played it in the beginning. But there are a couple things that came across to me that I'm more positive. We'll get to the poll and see if we're close to 200. I think we are. Number one, the knee question got asked, and he kind of said it's not an issue. Nope, and he was very confident in his answer. Now, again, he could spit out anything, and I think we take it for face value for what it's worth. But I do see a little bit of truth in what he says. Okay, so I do like that. The second thing that came out was, okay, asked him if he knew any Titans. He mentioned Big Jeff, and he asked about the leadership. And I think now we got two leadership guys. Because you can lead from the Titans standpoint, but you got to have some credibility behind you. So, like, if you look at the Titans defensively right now, like, who logistically can lead? Everybody's going to point to Jeff Simmons. And that would be my guy, right? Because he's produced. He's got that second contract. He is probably, even though the naysayers out there, the media guys, they don't want to give him his value because they don't watch the Titans for the most part. And I think that's pretty obvious. It is funny how ESPN or Fox and all that stuff, like Nick Wright, shout out to Ross. He came out with that short the other day on Nick Wright, his dumb comments saying like, oh, he thinks the Titans could be the number one in the draft next year because they're poorly run. And Corey Curtis came on our show with Titans Rossi and really kind of put the nail in the coffin, so to speak, but about the new stadium and how much relevancy Amy has done for the team and how much she's taken the Titans and made them relevant and makes tough decisions. And I get it. Not always does it work out. Just because you fire everyone doesn't make you a great boss. Can I get that shout out? Like literally. Doesn't make you a great boss to fire everybody. Okay? Because when you're a boss, you can fire anybody you want, right? But it's who you're hiring. It's, are you moving the business forward with who you are putting into place? And she went out and put a guy named Rand Carthon in power last year, but didn't really give him full power because of Vrabel. But now that's gone. Now it is really on Rand. It's not on Callahan. I hear so many times there are people that will say, oh, well, Brian Callahan, he's going to draft a wide receiver. It doesn't matter what Brian thinks. No offense. It's Rand. And we as fans, which we are, okay, most of us are Titan fans. Some of us are fans from other teams, and that's still cool. But for us and what we do, we should hope that Rand makes it his team. I don't want Rand listening to other people to ultimately decide what he wants to do. If you are a great leader and you will do a great job of collecting everyone's thoughts and their general feelings. But again, Brian Callahan, as the head coach, has the offensive philosophy. He's been on offense his entire life. So even back when the Bengal day, again, when we talked about who was taken, Jamar Chase, okay, or a lineman, they ended up going with the lineman over the Oregon Duck, right? So they ended up going with the Lions. The Lions ended up taking the left tackle out of Oregon or whatever. But they went with Jamar Chase, and it made sense because of how electric he was and elite. But it also made sense because he played with Burrow. you can't just say the same thing for this year's draft with taking a wide receiver because there are no Kentucky guys out there. There's nobody in there that has great bond with Will Levis. So if you're taking a guy, Neighbors is an example of this, and you think he can be electric and be a game changer and all that, I fine. But you still got to come back to the table and say, how are we going to put a left tackle in place? Because this team right now does not have a left tackle. There are some of you that are even talking yourself into saying, hey, we don't need a left tackle. The game's changed. We don't need a left tackle at all anymore. What? You need a left tackle. And how do I know? Watch last year. That's how I know. Because Andre Dillard literally did nothing for the team. He literally did nothing for the team. And we still, yes, won 6 games, but we only won 6 games and our quarterback got destroyed. Did you see the Houston game where his back almost broke in half? That's because he didn't have a left tackle. So again, center was a big part in that. Fine, get it, totally. Right tackle's also an issue. But you went out and got Cushenberry to be your center. You got Skoronski now, who should be your left tackle, or at least have an opportunity, but you're going to make him your left guard of the future. Brunskill has a warrior mentality, can play multiple positions coming from San Francisco a year ago. Very dependable 6 guy. I get it. He's got more to prove at being a full-time starter still, but I'm not so worried about that at right guard. And yeah, you got Nick Petit-Frere, who's played right guard okay at times. He did miss out last year coming in and getting a bad start. He's playing with the 3rd team in preseason, still getting beat up in there. And then you took 3 weeks off. He got to come back a little bit early. Still wasn't in great shape. Still wasn't in great playing shape. And it took a while for him, and ultimately they didn't even go with him at right tackle. But again, you need a left tackle. That's the problem that you're in. So if you went out and got Becton, or you got someone else you thought you could play, I guess I can say, okay, fine, take your stud wide receiver if he's there. But I don't know if Alt will be there. We'll see. But I just think if you want to protect him and you want Levis to be who we think he can be and give him every opportunity to make that happen, then you need to invest in him and you need to protect him. You already did it with your offensive side by hiring Brian Callahan. Go full all out. I don't care what Callahan says. I care what Rand says. And if this is Rand's team, then we got to give him the keys and let him run it his way. You can't deflate a GM. You just can't do it. We're gonna be wrapping this up, and then I'll get to the poll. We did hit 200. We did hit 200. Steve says stick. Oh, we already got to that one. I'm talking about playoffs, guys, not the regular season. Burrow couldn't move. I think we hit that one already. The Browns have recent playoff wins. That's true. Mitchell says sports and politics will always upset someone. I say do the poll. Consider making it happen. You might get more subs from a different flavor on the show. We don't need Boyd, by the way. We're drafting Neighbors, putting that into the universe. Shout out to you, Mitchell. MB says they haven't won a thing. They haven't won one division, just like the Titans. I think he's talking about the Ravens. We got Ricky Bass in the show. Says, yo. King says the Titans are never going to win a Super Bowl based on how they run their organization. Levis getting the O-line suitcases. That was hilarious. Adam in the house says that the Titans do not pick a left tackle in the first round, then I believe they will move Skoronski. Now, they've said no, but again, can you take what they say at face value? I don't know. Hey, Luke, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Hope everyone's well in the family. Upload, I would like to hear Bill Callahan's overview on the top OTs coming out, whether he thinks we need alts or we can wait until pick number 38. The only issue with that, MB, thanks for being a moderator. The only issue with that is you need a left tackle. It's a dire need. So, as much as you want a sports car, as much as you want to have the big screen TV, as much as you want, going back to my Full House days back in the day with Danny Tanner, if you want the karaoke machine, that's fine. But I'm going to say, can you pay your mortgage? Can you pay your rent? Can you put food on the table? Is that more important? Or is having that next fantastic thing more of an importance? Like, can you guarantee Neighbors is going to be Jamar Chase? Can you guarantee any of these wide receivers? Michael, what's his name? It slipped my mind now. Harrison Jr. Can he be? Is he going to be the next great thing? Marvin Harrison Jr. don't know why I'm calling him Michael Jordan, maybe, I don't know. Can I guarantee Joe Holt's going to be? I mean, I get it. But I just feel like you still need a left tackle. You can hope that, hey, you're going to sell this and you're going to do this. You're going to get this income in. You'll have enough at the end of the month to pay the rent. I totally understand that point. But if you could just get enough right now and pay the dang rent, then do it now. Then worry about everything later. That's my point. I've had some bad storms in the area today. Stay safe, man. Hey, some few teams in for a left tackle. Seems a few teams in for a left tackle. Well, I guess that's good. Shout out to you being a Chiefs fan. Kelsey and Mahomes. Love it, man. What do you think of Sneed, by the way? Let us know what you think of Sneed. We're excited over here in Titan Country. We definitely need to draft a left tackle. It's a big necessity. If we draft Neighbors or Dallas Turner, we're going to look at Patrick Paul out of Houston or Amagunjai out of BYU at left tackle. Ryan in the house. Shout out to you. I saw you last night. You are always in on the channels and the show. I appreciate your support. Thanks for being moderator, Ryan. Says, what's up? Titans. We got, let's see, Kanan Bricker. I think you got all that 7 on the trade or trade back. I don't know if you saw, but I have seen rumors. Titans trade 1st and 2nd for Vikings, 2nd first round or 2 first rounders. That would be really, really nice. So the Titans would give them the 7 and the 2 for the 2. I've not seen that one. Likely jet ski. I like it. If we don't get a left tackle, we want to go nowhere. First time on the live show. Hey, appreciate it. But I love watching your videos. I appreciate it, Kanan. Thanks so much. Slightly higher on Fashanu over Alt. The way he switches up on the sacks and good moving his head around fast to pick up schemes is very impressive. Thanks, Stanley. Fashanu, those two seem to be the top 2. I know some people are floating in other people, even right tackles at this point. And again, we'll break down the latest mock draft on Tuesday Night Lights. I'm probably not doing it tonight with the birthday, but we'll do a show this week. We'll just change the name on it. But I do think, looking at the 2 new mock drafts that we'll cover, like there are a lot of people going in a multiple different directions. The only thing I would come back to say to you is we've reached a month. I tried to warn you. We've reached April. April Fools is definitely a way to start it, but you're going to be fooled across the board throughout the month of April. Even your own team's going to try to fool you to get an edge come draft night. So there's a lot of neighbors talk. Hey, the draft visit went great. A lot of rumors being thrown out there, okay? People that don't know anything throwing things against the wall to see if it sticks. But at the end of the day, like, the Titans know who they want to draft. And I'm telling you, they want to draft Joe Alt. That's their guy. That's the guy. Everything points to this. Based on how they've handled free agency, based on the combine and overfloating wide receivers galore, downplaying offensive line, they've done a really good job of trying to basically put all the fool's gold in the basket and without you knowing what's real. So I can only say on draft night, we'll see what likely comes to play. Mitchell says, refrigerator always full, mortgage always paid, car is paid off, house is good, upload. Well, then, yeah, you everything all in for you, Mitchell. Everything all in for you. Hey, guys, thanks so much for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. We're going to stop the live show. But I do want to cover the poll one more time because you got me the 200. I didn't even have to beg or even ask multiple times. Said, how many wins do you think Sneed will help us get this year based off the presser? Not based off the presser, but having him talk today for the first time to the Titans universe and the community. 1, 2, 3, or 4 plus is what I asked. Again, how many helps can he help this team do it? Okay. Last year we won 6 games. How many games did we won with Sneed last year? This year we might win 10 games. For example, how many of those wins were because of Sneed? You guys are saying roughly 39% 4 plus, 23% 3, 25% 2, and 13%. I told you I'd give you my take on it, so here it goes. I firmly believe that Sneed is going to at least provide you 2 more wins this year. So by my calculations, if we won 6 last year, which I don't think there's any way we went under 6 based on what Rand's done, unless the whole team gets injured, the coach quits, Rand quits, and heck, Amy sells the team. I mean, it's going to take a miracle for this team not to win 6 games next year, okay? I don't think it's as locked to win 10 plus, but I don't think we'll win anything under 6. So if they're saying 5.5, you take the over. Okay? I can't tell you to do it. I don't want you to go out and do that. I don't think you need to. But if that's what you do nowadays, and you're a big time putting money on things, that would be one of the things I would say should be pretty simple to do, right? 5.5 wins. Titans are winning at least 6. So I think 2. So that gets you 8. So I think we're in prime position. If he stays healthy, he's going to give you at least 2 extra wins. You're going to win 8 games this year, at least. So it puts you in the ballpark between 8 and 11, I think, to be fair. But you still need work to do. Again, you go up against the Colts, okay? I don't care what other people say. I'm just telling you from flat out looking at it, okay? Experience, used to coach football, used to play football. Was super slow, by the way. I don't think it matters now, but just throwing that out there to you. I don't think there's any way you can look. And I gave you this analogy last time. I said, listen, you go pick anybody you want. Let's say you pick the Titans, how they're constructed defensively. I'm going to take the Colts. I'm going to take the Colts on Madden. I'm going to give myself Jonathan Taylor with the Colts offensive line. You're playing with 2 middle linebackers that aren't really good in the run game. You're playing with a defensive lineman who's stellar, but he's going to be triple teamed. And then you don't got anybody else to fill that spot right now. Here's what I'm going to do to you. I am going to run dive after dive after dive after dive, and you will not be able to stop it. You'll give up 5, 6, 7 yards consistently. And every now and then I'll pop a big one with Jonathan Taylor for 50 yards. Like, I don't have to do anything different. You physically can't stop it. And that's where we are right now as a defense. We physically cannot tighten up on defense to stop the run. There's nothing you can tell me. There's no facts. There's no statistics. There's no analysis. There's no hopes. There's no nothing. You cannot do anything about it. You cannot stop it. That is my argument of the offseason. Now, if you need a left tackle, don't get me wrong. That's what I want to do at number 7. But they got to find a way. And I'm trusting Rand will. And I know Rand, he knows football, man. And he knows this is a glaring hole right now that needs to be fulfilled. You need to put somebody next to Big Jeff. They don't even have to be an all-star. They just got to be good. That's why they're looking at guys like, well, they were at the time like DJ Reader and those kind of guys. So you need somebody. But the linebacker, Murray Jr., we went over that, right? Kenneth Murray Jr., he was okay in 2020's rookie year, but he's been awful at tackling. You can ask any Charger fan. They're saying, yeah, he might have had a few tackles, but you're taking under the count that they got by him the first time and he had to catch up and tackle him down the field. Giving up 8 yards. Woo-hoo-hoo. He got a tackle. But he could have had a tackle at yard 3. So, again, Kenneth Murray Jr. is not going to be that guy. But there's a role for him. He's a good pass rusher, supposedly. He could be electrifying. He's very good. He's athletic. There's ways that Wilson's going to be able to use him on the defense. Again, Sneed talked about that tonight in the presser at lunchtime about the fact that, hey, he loves Wilson's style, defensive coordinator for the Titans style, at being aggressive. Like, that's what the players here around the league. They're not dumb. You know, just because I play for the Chargers and you play for the Bucks doesn't mean we understand what you're doing over in Tampa Bay and what I'm doing over in Los Angeles. Like, these players talk. A lot of them are friends on and off the field. So they might not face each other every week, but they're watching game plans. They're watching film. They know more about these other teams than anybody knows because that's their work. That's what they do 24/7, watching film, hearing about the tendencies, breaking down defenses, knowing their weaknesses, knowing their strengths to stay away from them. They do a great job with this kind of stuff. Bottom line, through this rambling, I apologize for getting a little fired up right now. But again, bottom line, you need to be able to stop the run. And again, if you're not going to be able to stop the run, then put yourself in a position where at least you give us a fighter's chance. Because what you're going to end up doing is why I do dive after dive after dive. I take clock and I'm putting points on the board, which means you got to be perfect on offense. You cannot turn it over at all. You cannot go 3 and out. You cannot punt the football. You got to keep up with me and score every time. And then whoever ends the game and who has the ball last, they can make it happen, right? So that would be my key argument through this whole rambling thing. But again, the reaction's good. Nee seems to be good. He's a leader. He's not going to do it necessarily in your face, but he'll pull you to the side. He will talk about some things you're doing wrong. I think he's got that levelness that people know that he's good. you're shutting down the top wide receiver from the other team. Every single person on that team knows what a challenge that is in this day and age. He's also talked about the new rules. He doesn't like them with the hip tackle and stuff. So again, I think that ultimately is the power went out. So we don't have that going for us. Now we're in red mode. Holy buckets. That's not a sign to shut the thing down. I don't know what is. But again, I appreciate all you guys for stopping by tonight. Talking Titans, but we have to get a few comments and then we got to get out. We did hit 230 on the poll, so you know that's important to me. Again, those 3 likes or 3 buttons in the top right, boom, boom, boom. If you could help me get at least 50 likes, that'd be great. We're at 29 right now. All you got to do is hit those 3 buttons. A like button will appear, and you could smash the like button. You could tight up the like button. You can buck up the like button. You could, whatever team, platform, whatever, boom, there you go. And then if that subscribe button's down there, we'd appreciate it if you'd hit that red button to help us out, even though we want to change it blue for the Titans. But we'll see how YouTube thinks about it. Kyle says, I agree. They need to support too. Can't give up the Levis after basically half a season. Kyle says, look at the talent Jalen has around him. Eagles O-line and their the wide receivers are night and day. And then we got MB in the house. We got Titans Rossi, everybody. Shout out for Titans Rossi. Bringing you some more content today. Kyle says, kid's got a cannon. He's already shows massive improvement from his college days. His main issue was not looking beyond his first read. He's got better with that. That is definitely true. I think the Titans will be better than expected, says Charles. Viper Den says, I'm a Chief fan. Shout out to Viper Den. Stevie, if Alt and Neighbors are there, maybe we could trade back with Alt. Then they can have Neighbors and we could still get Alt. Slightly higher on, we already talked about that. And then we have Og Duck Scout. As a Texans fan, we don't fear the Titans on either side of the ball. Majority of us are counting on you guys as 2 free wins. Oh, man. I love it. I love it. Keep it coming, man. Keep it coming. Because we said the same thing about you last year, and we didn't get any wins against you. Because you came out of nowhere. I'm not even going to throw any shade your way. You guys had a great season. Looks like you're definitely heading in the right direction. Adam says, Sweat, defensive tackle, 6'4", 366, 81-inch wingspan, 10-inch hands, run stopper. Oh, it sounds good. Where we get him at 38, Adam? That would help fill a lot of holes. And Fortune, hey, you can definitely join the 145 club, man. Just somewhere on there, hit that button. And yeah, I appreciate that as well. We're 35 members strong right now. Again, I left you guys a question. It was my birthday today, so shout out to all of you that said happy birthday. But I left you a question in the poll. Not a poll. I left a picture, but I left a question at the bottom if you actually read. I was kind of testing you out there on the 145 Club, but seeing who you guys wanted me to break down next. So definitely let me know on that one. And our last comment. Let's see what we got. I don't know. We got Rossi. So say, please hit that button for us if you haven't. Yeah, we appreciate it. Yes, we do. We appreciate every single one of you. And again, poll question 233. 38% are sold on 4+ wins from Sneed. Again, press conference. Great suit. Love the new suit that he had on. He said he couldn't really wear it too much in Kansas City because of the colors. It was like a navyish, bluish, but it was more of a, I don't know, it was more of a Jacksonville bluish than anything, but it looked really good. Texans have a qualified quarterback. They do. They do. CJ Stroud. And you know who wanted CJ Stroud on draft night? The Titans did. Except somebody let the cat out of the bag, and then you found out about it and took him at 2. Apparently you were not going to take him. Mitchell, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. And again, you guys were awesome. Thanks so much for being here. We had roughly around 60 plus for most of the night. Again, we started with Sneed. We'll end with Sneed. Again, I'm excited. That's the reaction I get from today's press conference. I'm excited because I'm ready for some football. I'm ready for some football. The only problem is we got a draft ahead of us. And we got another super chat, so we'll get to those too. But super chat says, hey, from Charles, says happy birthday. Thanks, Charles, and thanks again for Henry being a member. I got to fix my audio there. And then earlier we had a super chat from Stanley. So we'll put Stanley's up there too. He says, as long as we sweep the Colts and maybe split with the Texans or sweep the Jags and split with the Texans, I'm happy. He's talking about the direction of the Titans. And then, as I just mentioned, Stanley with an awesome super chat. So we appreciate him. And for being a member. Stanley's been a member a while in the 145 Club. So I appreciate him so much. again, it was fun. It was fun. Press conferences. Maybe we can start doing some press conferences now, especially after games. Wouldn't that be cool? Break it all down after what they say. And then we got Platypus 314. He says, do you like the Rams? Shout out to Platypus in a Vikings uniform. Jefferson. I do not like the Rams. But if you're a Rams fan, shout out to them because they did win the Super Bowl. And the Rams-Bengals game was our best night ever for the Super Bowl. We had over 153,000 views that night. It was electric, and it never happened again. It never happened again on Super Bowl. The year before that, we were at 67,000 views on a Super Bowl. And then after the Rams Super Bowl with the Bengals, it was like 2,400, and I think last year maybe 2,000 at the most. So it is what it is. All right, you guys are awesome. AFC South Roundtable is tonight. We will have the Power Hour on representing the Titans tonight. Again, I would have been my debut, but like I said, we're going to celebrate the old birthday tonight. So appreciate all of you. We'll be putting together some mock drafts again for the next edition of Tuesday Night Lights, which would have happened tonight, but we'll back that up maybe tomorrow or the next night. And then we'll break down those mock drafts. And then we'll be coming out with our own mock draft. And Ken Moore will be in the house too. So we've already kind of talked. He's reached out already again, and I've reached out to him. We're both kind of in all of us should be in a gloomy mood, right? Tennessee, they lost to Purdue. Edie had, 40 points. Oh, my gosh. We decided we didn't want to play the second half at Illinois, so we were down by 5 to UConn at half, 28-23, and then they went on a 30-0 run to end the game. We're like, yeah, we're not playing this game. So we just apparently stopped playing, and we ended up losing by like 30. And then Houston fell to Duke, and I know one of their guys got hurt. Ken was pretty upset about that, but yeah, the Houston fans in here, the Tennessee Vol fans, and the Illini fans in here. Oh, so shout outs for the teams that actually did win. Again, 245 in the poll, and with 32 likes. So thanks for that. Till next time, take care, and as we always say, tighten up.
Whether it's the regular season or the off season,